The Volkswagen plant that produced countless classic models from the Beetle to the Porsche 356 will be completely shut down by 2027. It is a stunning blow to the city of Osnabrück and a historic crack in the foundation of German engineering. But as the assembly lines for convertibles fall silent, a new, grimmer reality is taking hold. Volkswagen is now in negotiations with Israel's Raphael, the firm behind the Iron Dome, to pivot this iconic factory into a production hub for missile interceptor components. For the icon of European middle-class prosperity, this isn't a strategic expansion, it's a desperate act of industrial salvage. The German industrial heart is still beating, but it's no longer building the cars of the future. It's building the shields for a world at war. While German car showrooms look like ghost towns, the country's factory floors are turning into a feverish gold rush, but the gold is painted olive drab. This isn't just a pivot, it's an industrial shape-shifting. We are watching the world's most successful civilian manufacturing machine cannibalize its own car culture to build a fortress. Look at the job market. It's less of a transition and more of an emergency evacuation. Continental, a name synonymous with tires and brake pads, is currently axing 15,000 jobs in its automotive division. But they aren't just handing out pink slips. They've signed a desperate memorandum with the arms giant Rheinmetall to facilitate a mass transfer of workers. The logic is brutal. The passenger car market is a graveyard, while Rheinmetall's CEO Armin Paperger is openly gloating about 40% profit jumps. He recently quipped that he needs anyone who knows how to weld or turn a wrench. It's a cold trade. Yesterday you were calibrating sensors for an SUV. Today you're fine-tuning the vision systems for a Lynx infantry fighting vehicle. The scale of this camouflage makeover is staggering. Deutz, which spent 160 years perfecting engines for tractors and mining, has officially pivoted to war. Their CEO, Sebastian Schulte, now spends his days talking about Patriot missile systems because Deutz engines are now the literal heart of air defense batteries protecting Ukrainian skies. Even Schaeffler, the king of precision bearings, has set a hard target. Defense must hit 10% of their total revenue. As one industry analyst put it, when the world stops buying your electric hatchbacks but can't get enough of your armored vehicle components, you don't argue with the market, you pick up the gun. The real secret sauce here is what experts call a downward strike. For a century, defense manufacturing was a slow, boutique craft, expensive toys built by hand. Germany is throwing that out the window. They are porting the Otto method, the high-speed, soul-crushingly efficient assembly line logic of the Volkswagen Beetle, into the world of tanks and shells. They are weaponizing the assembly line. It is a massive, desperate repurposing of capital and skill. But to understand why these industrial titans are so eager to climb into this armor-plated lifeboat, we have to look at the three pillars of German prosperity that just turned into dust. To understand the desperation behind this shift, you have to go back to February 27, 2022. Chancellor Olaf Scholz stands before a hushed Bundestag. He delivers the speech of a lifetime, coining the term Zeitenwende, a historic turning point. International headlines painted it as a bold Independence Day moment for a new German superpower. But if you look at the faces in that room, it wasn't a call to glory, it was a reckoning. Scholz wasn't just announcing a bigger military budget, he was announcing the bankruptcy of the most comfortable economic model in modern history. For 30 years, Germany's prosperity sat on three pillars that seemed unshakable. First, cheap Russian energy. Siberia was effectively a giant subsidized gas station for German heavy industry. Second, the vast Chinese market. For the likes of VW and BMW, China wasn't just a market, it was a limitless ATM. Third, the free U.S. security umbrella. Washington paid for the world's most expensive defense, allowing Berlin to spend its tax euros on social safety nets instead of missiles. Then, in a single year, those pillars crumbled. Putin didn't just invade Ukraine, he turned off the gas tap. China, once the eager buyer, became the aggressive master, with brands like BYD beginning to eat German market share for breakfast. And the U.S.? The message from Washington has become chillingly clear. The era of the free security umbrella is over. The recent redeployment of 5,000 U.S. troops away from German bases is a cold, physical reminder that the security guarantee is no longer unconditional. Berlin can no longer outsource its safety while focusing solely on its balance sheet. In a move of total necessity, the German government bypassed its own constitutional debt brake to establish the $100 billion Sondervermögen or special fund. This is a massive, one-time capital injection designed to fast-track military modernization. But for the industrial sector, this $100 billion is much more than a procurement list. It is the largest industrial life jacket ever inflated. As IMF economist Ulrike Malmendier recently noted, Germany is attempting to make its economy grow again through the back door of defense. This fund acts as a state-sponsored order book, keeping the lights on in factories that can no longer compete in the civilian export market. The strategy is a pragmatic form of industrial recycling. If you can't beat China at electric vehicles, you pivot to a market where you still hold a legacy advantage: complex, high-tech machinery. By 2029, Germany plans to hike defense spending to over $150 billion, or roughly 3.5% of its GDP. The auto method we talked about earlier is the secret weapon here. Germany is betting that it can take its decades of experience in mass-producing complex machines and apply it to a defense world currently struggling with low volumes and high costs. It's like a world-class chef whose Michelin-starred restaurant just lost its lease. He's not joining the army because he loves the rations. He's joining because it's the only kitchen left with a working stove. Germany has realized that to save Made in Germany, it must put it in a uniform. Germany's push for strategic sovereignty is a clash between two worlds. In Berlin, Helsing, Europe's first defense AI decacorn, represents a high-tech dream of software-defined defense. But that dream hits a wall the moment it touches the factory floor. Thousands of skilled workers, including veteran car welders, are currently sitting idle for up to 12 months, waiting for Sicherheitsüberprüfung, security clearances. It is a 19th century administrative handbrake on a 21st century industrial emergency. Even without the red tape, Berlin faces a brutal mathematical reality. Defense is a growth engine, but it isn't a replacement engine. The German car industry was a $500 billion a year behemoth, the undisputed spine of the national economy. While defense is the only sector with a pulse, replacing the automotive spine with military contracts is like swapping a Boeing 747 engine for a high-performance motorcycle motor. It is fast and powerful, but it lacks the sheer mass to lift the entire middle class out of an industrial spiral. Finally, there is the dependency paradox. Germany is building this arsenal to de-risk its future, yet the foundation remains dangerously foreign. Modern missiles and drones require critical minerals like tungsten and rare earths, where German dependency on China is near 100%. Berlin is effectively attempting to build a shield using materials bought entirely from the rival it is shielding itself against. This strategic irony makes the dream of sovereignty look like a very fragile illusion. For decades, Germany turned global stability into a mountain of cash. Today, a taboo question is being whispered in Berlin: can war fix a spiraling economy? The answer is a painful maybe. This shift is a desperate experiment in industrial survival, betting that the business of weaponry can revive the broken business of peace. But defense spending is often a sugar high. It masks the underlying rot of high energy costs and stifling bureaucracy. Germany didn't choose to become an arsenal. It was forced into it when its pillars of prosperity crumbled. As the era of the free security lunch ends, the camouflage-painted tank is no longer just a weapon. It is the last standing support for a struggling economy. The gears are turning again, but this time they are greased with the oil of a world at war.